Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laurabel, and today's episode is going to be a very special one. Well, all the episodes this month are going to be very special, at least to me and hopefully to you too, because we are in February, which means we are all celebrating Black History Month. So I'm going to have a diverse guests who are going to be joining me on the couch all month long, and especially to kick off this week's episode. I'm going to be joined by 4 amazing people from 3 separate organizations who are going to show the contributions Black people are making to Newfoundland and Labrador. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn a little bit more about Black culture, especially within our province. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Chioma and Navel, who are part of a coalition of Black communities within Newfoundland and Labrador. And for Black History Month, they are celebrating and doing something special. So, guys, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
So it's Black History Month. What do you guys have planned?
So we do have an event for Black History Month, and we're doing something different. The Nigerian Canadian Association is coming together with the different Black communities represented in Newfoundland and Labrador, or as many we could get our hands on. And we're partnering together with beautiful people like Music NL, Sarr Fest, Black Lives Matter, and Black Business Initiative. Like all of these organizations, we're all coming together as one to celebrate Black History Month. And we're calling this event Black Excellence. And I do know that I forget now what the theme for Black History Month is, but Black Excellence, because we figured, as Black people or people of Black descent, we've gone through a bunch of struggles, which is different for you, with a different skin color and all of that is a struggle. The culture shock, the career changes, so we're kind of celebrating the struggles of it and the excellence we've achieved in a different fields, different lives we've chosen, every day. So we decided to come together and celebrate this. It's going to be a conference on the 19th of February at the Farmers Market. And it's going to be running like from 12 to 3 o'clock. No, well, take that back. 12 to about 5 or 6 p.m. And like I said before, it's a conference style type thing. And it's going to have like 3 different sessions, with different things to offer. First one is going to be like an orientation type, because every day we have Black people, Black descent people coming into Canada, St. John's, and these people would really like to know what is out there, after you arrive, what next. Some people come as students, sure, some come for work, and some come as permanent residents. But again, the culture shock. Sometimes you arrive and you don't know, what next. So we're having this one session where we have like people who will be willing and able to, give advices, friendly tips, on what next to do, what things you need to have at the back of your head, pointers basically when buy a house, the best way to get to that portion of it, of your life, which also helps, people settle and stay. You want to get a different career, or you want to take your career a step further, the steps to go through all of this process. And then we will be inviting keynote speakers on another segment on that day, people who have gone through the struggles of starting from scratch, and have achieved a certain height of course, everyone is still growing. I know, right? And they will be giving a speech, I guess, to everyone and sharing the story, basically, you know. So one person who came through the student route and another person who basically came through a different route, you know, both people, two different set of lives, sharing the story, you know, and sharing the excellence they've basically achieved, right? And then the third session of the segment is going to include where we have a chance for people who have businesses, because Black people were very, very business oriented. You know, a Black person will find something to make some type of a career or entrepreneurship out of, right? So people who have done that, people who are solely 100% sole proprietors, and people who have careers and on the side have businesses, right? Kind of create like a panel style where, you know, other people who might want to achieve such will ask questions on, you know, how you got there, you know, little, almost like a comic style type thing, right?
Now, Navel, I know Sarr Fest is also something on its own, and I want to know, what are you guys contributing to this amazing event?
Yes, as you know, Sarr Fest, it's a music festival happening every summer here in St. John's to highlight African and Afro-descendant music and culture in Newfoundland, Labrador. We did some events, even the festival or Black History Month in the past, but we are really specialized in music, and we are very happy to contribute for this event. We'll take care about the music from between different sessions. We'll bring some great musician, local or from outside the province, just to have like, you know, celebration without music, or Black celebration without music doesn't.
It's not real.
Work.
No.
It's not complete. Yeah, we are very, very happy to be part of Black history. As I usually said, Black history, it's a part of Canadian history. Canadian history without Black history is not complete, because Black people are like third group that came in Canada after the British and the French. Everyone knows they came from United States for freedom, established in Nova Scotia. I think this celebration is not like for Black people, it's for all Canadians.
Yeah.
And everyone is welcoming to come to enjoy, to learn, to share. That's why we are working together, as Chioma said, with different Black communities, with some association for some countries. You know, in Newfoundland, we don't have like big groups like Nigerian or Ghanaian, but even all groups are welcome to join us to make this event a success.
I want to thank you both so much for joining me. Just want to confirm this event is taking place on February 14th or 19th?
14th is Valentine's Day.
Oh, sorry. That's very true. February 19th it is. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and I can't wait to be there.
Sure, we hope to see you there as well.
And we'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Kassandra Drodge, who is Director at Large and Director of Education and Training for the Social Justice Co-op. Kassandra, or Cassie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me today, Laurabel. It's an honor to be here.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about what your role is with the Social Justice Co-op and what you do there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role with the Social Justice Co-op right now is a director at large. I recently became into the role in 2021, and so I'm in charge of education and training. This stemmed from a previous position I had with the co-op, which was the Participatory Action Research Coordinator position, which centered environment, society, race, and policies.
Okay, so talking about environment, society, race, and policies, how does that play in for you as a biracial woman within Newfoundland and Labrador?
That is something that speaks true to my heart.
Okay.
The identity of being a biracial woman in Newfoundland, specifically just as the island itself, is something that heavily underlines my advocacy within the social justice cooperative, as well as my other research endeavors, as I am a social scientist. Understanding race, society, sustainability even, and even class in history has to do a lot with understanding a term which I've come familiar with is eco-womanism.
Okay.
And eco-womanism is a Black feminist term that was coined from a sociologist, I believe, Melanie Harris. And Melanie Harris uses eco-womanism to metaphorically compare Black women's bodies to society, to people, and to nature to display the exploitative relationships. And this is where I really resonate with the exploitative relationships.
Okay.
Within Newfoundland specifically, we do have a history that can be uncovered using eco-womanism. We have a very large connection with Afro-Caribbean descendants through even our screech.
Okay.
You know, you hear our tales during screeching. You know, we kiss the cod, and then we trade our cod for Jamaican rum.
Yes.
We also share, funny enough, a lot of recipes, such as fish fritters, or fish cakes is what we know them as.
Okay.
The only difference between them is potato and flour.
Okay.
And so, again, another similarity between, another similarity, sorry, but I guess another underlying narrative between Newfoundland as an island specifically and Afro-Caribbean descendantry is dried coconut.
Okay.
And our traditional use of snowballs.
Okay.
So, you know, how did this traditional, like, dried up coconut, or how
Yes.
did dried up coconut become so traditional
Yes.
in Newfoundland and Labrador? It didn't just come here. And so, for me, as a person who's from here, and as a person who has a biracial identity with, I guess, European heritage and Jamaican heritage, this sparked something in myself. And the co-op allowed for me to kind of explore this through holding space, to hold conversations amongst others. And so when we were talking a little bit more about, you know, how these histories and intricacies actually relate to Afro-Caribbean heritage, it actually opens up a new and a bigger conversation about large-scale fishing and colonial structures.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I am so ready for that. And so when we look at fishing, and when we look at Newfoundland, specifically sanctioned, just for example, fishing, we see that you have indentured European people coming over here from Europe or from England, and you also have Afro-Caribbean enslaved people coming over on merchant ships as well. And I know one of my colleagues, Xavier Campbell, I spoke to them last week a little bit about how these histories have become uncovered or how they've been silenced throughout the years. And it not only speaks to the power dynamic of colonial structures, but it also speaks to how policies and systems that are inspired from these colonial structures have actually failed. It's failed us as people, you know, through dividing us through race, dividing us through class, and of course dividing us through gender as well. And also exploiting non-human entities such as cod and fish, and using that as a way to move people who have really no choice historically but to move because of power and European Navy officers.
So that's really interesting to see how Newfoundland and Labrador is actually really deeply connected to the Caribbean. But as much of this is a passion project for you, I know there's another thing that you're really excited about that you also work on called Mixed Coast Diaries. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for bringing that up. I have so many passions, so it's hard to keep track. I think that might have a little bit to do with the biracial identity, having a big heart and a lot of passion. So that's basically the stem of where Mixed Coast Diaries came from, having a lot of passion and not having the space necessarily to be able to engage and to be able to relay maybe some of the information that I would like to share with allies, friends, and other folks who might be just interested in learning about the intersections of race, society, and in policy, especially in the context of Newfoundland and Labrador. The one thing about this Instagram page is that it does pertain to mainly Newfoundland and Labrador situations, politics, policies, and we also uplift other organizations and other voices. So you will see like a call for an event or a conference on there, anything that will uplift Black, biracial, Black identifying, and even racialized individuals. Because race for me, as personally, is very ambiguous. My hair can change how I'm perceived, and I think it gives me a point of privilege to be able to talk about some things in a bigger space, rather than letting others get or bear the forefront of possible backlash. And so the Instagram page comes from a place of love and care, and it's always open. It's not only for Black women, it's for non-binary and gender spectrum folks. So very open, very welcoming. So I hope that I see some new followers in the future.
I can't thank you enough for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. I'm your friend, so I get to know you and get to talk to you about all these topics on a personal level and pretty often as well. So I'm really glad that I get a chance to showcase all the diversity that Newfoundland Labrador does have to offer in terms of people who've been here and grown up their whole lives who also happen to identify as Black or biracial. So thank you for taking the time and joining me today. And I hope people go check out your Instagram and the Social Justice Co-op Facebook as well. There's so much to learn out there.
Oh, thank you so much, Laurabel, for having me. It was an honor being here.
And we'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Nicole Obidiaka, and she is going to tell me a little bit about all the stuff she has going on. Nicole, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So you have a lot of things that you have accomplished in your time on the Screen Earth. So you are the founder of the Black Vendor Market, and you are the winner of the Afropolitan Youth Ventures Award, as well as a former Human Rights Award nominee for this year. Yeah. So before we dive into all of those, let's start with the Black Vendor Market. What is that and how did that come to be?
Yeah, so the Black-owned vendor market is a space where Black-owned businesses can sell their products. So it came about because a lot of Black-owned businesses are majorly based online because of all the, I guess, capital and money and expenses required to like have a physical space. So I thought of what's a way that I can bridge that gap and connect them with the community, and that's what birthed the Black-owned vendor market. So it gives the business owners an opportunity to connect with the community, showcase their product, generate more revenue. So that's really the whole idea behind it. It's also a really good opportunity to celebrate Black culture because there is a range of products. So be it jewelry or makeup, extensions, wigs, nails, arts, you name it. Like there's a wealth of creativity within the Black-owned community. So it's also a way to celebrate Black culture and embrace yourself in it as well.
So when was your first market?
So great question. I believe the first market was in November of 2021. Actually, October of 2021, that was the first market. And we just had our second market in November last year, so 2022.
So it's something that you guys are looking to do annually?
Yes, it's an annual event. So we've had the second one and hopefully the third one later on this year.
Okay, so I'm absolutely excited. And I've got to see the first one and I can't wait to see the third one because you guys have grown a lot in that time. Yeah. How was it received by the community?
So it's been received very positively, and the last one was even received very well. And I say this because it was a bad weather day. It was really, really bad outside, but we got such a good turnout, and that really just showed, you know, how much the community really cares to like come out and support these Black-owned businesses because they had every excuse to stay home. I would have stayed home personally, you know. So it was, yeah, the community is really, really supportive, and the Black-owned vendors, they really appreciate that because I go around and I speak to them to see how are they doing, how are their sales, and they said that at these markets they actually make more sales than they would but maybe the past, which is sad when you think about it, but I'm happy that at least it gives them an opportunity to grow their business, generate more revenue, and just keep them going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's really great to know. So now we're going to go on to the next thing and celebrating your award for the Afropolitan Youth Ventures Award. So what's the Afropolitan Youth Ventures Award and how did you end up there?
Yeah, so the Afropolitan Youth is a Youth Leadership Award. So the award just celebrates, there's different categories, but it celebrates women in diversity. So it acknowledges talents across Canada. And I was given the award for my work within the Black Students Association, as well as founding the Black-owned vendor market. And I believe at the time I had produced or was in the process of producing the series with CBC. So that's what the award recognizes. So my efforts to help the Black community. Yeah.
So you do a lot. How have you found being able to, one, find your footing within Newfoundland and Labrador? Because I know you originally came as a student, but you've excelled since then.
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
It's been a journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but I would say the community really helped a lot, because when I first came in, I was on residence, and that's what actually birthed my whole advocacy for the Black community. So when I first came in, there weren't a lot of minority groups to begin with, and even the events that they were having, although it was inclusive for students, it wasn't inclusive for the Black community in the sense of, you know, the style of events or like the music or the food. It just didn't really think about that demographic, and I wanted to change that. So I began to work with Monso, and they were very receptive in hosting events that were tailored to the Black community. So overall, it's just been a supportive community that has helped me to pursue my goals and also help other people like me to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can't let you go without talking about the fact that you were a nominee for the Newfoundland Labrador Human Rights Award.
Yes.
What was that like?
It's really amazing to be recognized for your efforts. Like, I have put a lot of like time and effort towards helping and advocating for the Black community and our rights in every different aspects, not only the businesses, but in school as the students as well. So it felt really amazing to be recognized for that. And the Human Rights Committee is doing a really great job in terms of advocating for like equity, diversity, and inclusion. So it's really nice to see the other diverse nominees that were in there as well. I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? Because so far you've accomplished so much in such a little time.
Yeah.
So what do you have next and what are you working towards?
So I would say next steps is definitely expanding the Black-owned vendor market. I know we have good turnout, but it can be much, much bigger. Getting more sponsorships, grants, or pitch competition just to generate more capital and access to funds for these Black-owned businesses. And outside of that, for the general advocacy work, I am working on producing more video series that address certain stereotypes or that serve as inspiration for the Black community out there or express our views and our beliefs. So that's my immediate focus right now.
Okay. And so we're in the midst of Black History Month, and if you could leave our viewers with one tidbit about Black history of the Black community within Newfoundland and Labrador, what would you want them to know?
I would say the Black community is very vibrant and diverse. There is no one word or one description. We are a melting pot of different cultures, different beliefs, different values, different talents. So try and attend as many events and just immerse yourself in the culture and appreciate it as well.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me and chat, and I'm so amazed by all the things you've managed to accomplish while you're here, and I can't wait to see what comes next for you.
And thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back, everyone. I want to give a very special thank you to all of you for tuning in for this episode, and then an extra special thank you to my guests for joining me today. It's really amazing for me to see and share with you all the great contributions Black people are making to our province, our cities, and our communities. If you're looking to learn more about each of the organizations we talked about today, please feel free to check them out on their social media. And if you're looking for something fun to do this month, on February 19th, not the 14th, please feel free to check out the Black Excellence ceremony that'll be going on. And I can't wait to see you guys next time.
program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
I did it.
I need it.
The hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website, pledge a gift of life,